Hey, what's going on, guys, and welcome back to another video of Keep It Simple Stupid. I apologize, I haven't made a video in a while, but life gets crazy sometimes. Today I wanted to make a video about a case I had seen recently that was very interesting, and that was a case of Myxedema Coma. So in this video, I'm not going to get really deep into pathophys, but I want to provide you guys with a basic explanation and definition of what is Myxedema Coma, and as always, I'm going to try to make it as simple as possible. So step one, as always, I think definitions are very important. So the first thing to understand about Myxedema Coma is that it is a medical emergency arising from hypothyroidism. If you kind of think about the spectrum between thyroid storm and Myxedema Coma, with thyroid storm being hyperthyroidism and hypothyroidism, Myxedema Coma is on the hypothyroid end of things. Now let's go ahead and go over this definition. So Myxedema Coma, a state of decompensated hypothyroidism characterized by altered mental status, hypothermia, and multi-organ dysfunction. And that brings us to the next question, is how is it generally diagnosed? So as I was looking through the different resources for how exactly Myxedema Coma presents, or what are the things to look for that can tilt you towards a diagnosis of Myxedema Coma, and from the resources I looked at, generally you're looking at a triad. So what are these three things in this triad? So it's altered mental status, hypothermia, and then a precipitating event. Precipitating event, what does that mean? So that is something that induces stress on the human body. So some examples I found were an MI, so a heart attack, a stroke, infection, things like that. So next let's talk about laboratory values, because I remember in the case I had seen, this is where really the diagnosis was clinched. I put a 1 and a 2 here to represent primary hypothyroidism and secondary hypothyroidism. So let's go ahead and discuss this. So the lab values we're going to discuss, they will be TSH, and for those who don't know, TSH stands for thyroid stimulating hormone. And the next lab value we are going to pay attention to is T3 and T4. So here is the very basic pathway to understand TSH and T3, T4. What you need to know is that TSH is made in the anterior pituitary gland, and TSH tells the thyroid, hey, I need you to make T3 and T4. Most commonly in primary hypothyroidism, this means that the issue is with the thyroid. And if this is the case, your TSH will be very high, and your T3, T4 will be low, or it'll be undetectable. Secondary hypothyroidism, the issue is not with the thyroid, the issue is with the pituitary gland. Your thyroid, it could make plenty of T3, T4, but it's not getting a signal from the pituitary gland via TSH. So in this scenario, you'll have both low TSH and low T3, T4. All right, so finally, we're going to discuss treatment. So the resources I looked at for this were a little bit different in their treatment regimen. However, they both recommended the same medications, but they recommended them in a different order. Per open evidence, the treatment first line is you give hydrocortisone 100 milligrams, Q8 hours IV. And what is hydrocortisone? That is a exogenous steroid. And then the second medication is levothyroxine, 200 to 400 micrograms as a loading dose, and then you give additional doses moving forward. Now, what is levothyroxine? Levothyroxine is a synthetic form of T4. Well, guys, I hope that was helpful. Again, I wanted to make maybe a short, quick video just discussing very basic concepts related to Myxedema Coma. I didn't want to get into too much of the pathophysiology, but if you guys would like me to make a video discussing that in a little more detail, please let me know. As always, like, comment, subscribe. Again, if there's any specific topics you would like me to cover, please let me know, and I'll see you guys next time.